Hello, everybody. I'm the Boomer Money Lady, and I'm happy to be here with you when you're watching this video. I teach at a high school. I volunteer to teach money literacy at a high school, and I love every day that I go in there and bring information to these young people in junior and senior year in high school about how banks work. And when I did my session on how banks work, I had a completely full classroom. People stayed afterward, kids stayed afterward and wanted to ask more questions. So I thought I'd bring that up today because I'm hearing rumors that the FDIC may be at risk in the new administration. So I want to bring up what the FDIC is all about. Firstly, FDIC stands for Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. And of course, it's funded by insurance companies who have lenders who give them the money to help you not lose your money when a bank goes under. So I want you to first understand that there's many layers to a bank. Banks are insured, insurers are insured, insurers have lenders. There is a huge amount goes into the day that a bank opens every morning and opens their doors, or that you're online with the bank. It's not as easy as you think. And the kids believed that the money, like if they have $7 million in deposits, that the money is sitting in the bank where you deposited the money. Now, I let my kids imagine that they're millionaires sometimes and make decisions based on that. But they thought all of that money resided right inside that bank branch where they put it. And firstly, I had to explain that that wasn't the truth, that there is very little money that sits in any bank. The days of bank robberies are over. There's really nothing in the banks. Money is all flying around. It's not even real. The reason we have a deficit is we print more money than we have to back it up. So it used to be that gold in Fort Knox backed up all the money we printed. That's not true anymore. We have printed a zillion times more paper money than there's anything to back it up. We do not have backup for that. As I explained to my kids, you're not a millionaire until you have $1 million liquid. And they said, what? And I said, okay, I'll explain that at another time. But if you have $1 million in the bank and it's at one bank, rest assured they are investing that money. It's not there. But in your time of need, you'd be able to go get it. Now you'd have to give them warning because they don't carry just $1 million in cash in their bank. You'd have to call them. They'd have to call around. They'd have to gather that cash and give it to you. They more than likely would say, sir, it will take us a while, or ma'am, it'll take us a while to get a hold of that kind of cash, because they don't have it in the branches and it's not easily accessible because it really doesn't exist. We're living on fake money, right? Might as well be monopoly money. But anyway, so you have $1 million in a bank, let's say with Wells Fargo, and it's all under your security number. So you have an amount, it's at Wells Fargo branch, and it's under that number. That is only insured up to $250,000 by the FDIC. So if your bank goes under, or you're in a small bank and they go under, the government has a program where they can salvage $250,000 of that $1 million, but the other $750,000 will be lost. It's gone. You're out. If we eliminate the FDIC, you would be out all $1 million. So my first advice to you, if you're lucky enough to have $1 million in the bank and you have it in the bank, not in different programs, diversify that $1 million. Firstly, get it into some other ID number. If you have all million under a social security number, it is not secure. So I have to tell you, you need to move that money into several different banks under your security number. I have a hard time with that word, so I'm going to say SS number. I am done saying social security number. So it's under your SSN, okay? So what you do is that $1 million has to go to 250 to Wells, 250 to Chase, 250 to California Bank and Trust, 250 to Farmers. That way, your $1 million is more secure. If you have it all in one bank, it's not. I don't think anybody knows this, or I think very few people know this. And when the kids found out, they were freaked out. In fact, when I said your $1 million is not secure, only the first 250 is, one absolutely wonderful kid said, should we put our money in different banks then if we have that much money? And I said, bingo, that's exactly what you need to do. And there are programs for that. There are networks for that, where if you have that much money, you need to put it somewhere safe. Now, for those of us who do not have that kind of money, you need to make sure that at least it's safe at the bank you're in. What you need to do with how banks work, and I do how banks work on many levels, how their ATM and their charges are, but on this particular item, FDIC insured to $250,000, you need to go online and Google how funded, how secure is the bank where you bank. Like if you're with a small bank in your local town, you need to go on and find out how capitalized they are. How much assets do they have to cover your deposits? Because what would happen is a bank that went under, like Silicon Valley went under just recently, they have to sell all their assets to try and cover their depositors. So what you need to do is you need to find out how solid your bank is. Now, Wells Fargo had to pay a $3 billion fine several years ago, and they were able to do that without much trouble. So I would say at that point, Wells Fargo was pretty secure. Do I believe they are as secure now as they were then? I really don't know. I would want to look up and see what their financials look like. How secure are they? What are their assets? What happens if Wells Fargo goes under? What happens to all the depositors? You have to do your research because they're not going to tell you. So just remember, when you hear stories about someone getting rid of the FDIC, and I'm going to tell you again what it means, Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, which covers first $250,000 of your deposits. So that means if you have $50,000 at a bank, or $60,000 at a bank, or $20,000 at a bank, or even $2,000 at a bank, the FDIC secures that money with an insurance policy for that bank. But if you have more than that, you need to move it to another bank because it goes by SSN or ID number. So you can't have all your money under one SSN. I know people don't know this, and I know you think, well, I don't have a lot of money. But even if you don't have a lot of money, you want it secured when your branch goes under. And I don't know if you've seen lines and the stories where people are lined up because they think their bank is in trouble and they go to get their money out and they're turned away because there is no money in the branch. Remember that. If you need a large withdrawal, call the bank in advance and say, I'm going to come in and I'm going to need $40,000 in cash, because they're going to scramble to go find it. Also, I need to tell you about a little known rule. If you take out $10,000 or you put in $10,000 in one of your accounts, that gets recorded to the IRS. That's a recordable transaction. They are heavily into money laundering and understanding how money laundering is working and watching people's deposits. Why? Because they want tax money on laundered money. They don't want you laundering money through and not paying your tax. Now, I could get into that, but I won't. But anyway, so you are being scrutinized with your deposits and your withdrawals from banks. So just keep all of that in mind when you're hearing the FDIC might be disappearing and why am I being looked at when I make more than a $10,000 transaction. It's actually $10,000 or more. So you have to be careful. And banks are tricky, and I just want to give you that heads up about the FDIC. So thanks for listening. Like and subscribe. If you didn't know what the FDIC was before, you do now, and you understand that your money could be at risk. Thanks for listening. Like and subscribe. I'm Robin Da Vinci. Have a good day.